Hey guys, welcome to The Raw Truth. I am here today with Dr. Ron Λόγκαν. For those of you who do not know much about him, I will put more information in the description box. But just for a quick introduction, he's been working in the medical field for over 60 years, and now he's a naturopath who heals people with iridology and
natural substances.
Yeah, natural substances. So he's really done quite a lot, and you'll find out more about that soon. But today I am here to talk with you about cancer. And before I even get into this, I just want to say over the past 24 hours, I have learned so much from you, so I'm very thankful.
I talk a lot.
So,
but the big C is a problem in America.
Yes, absolutely. I guess the first question that I have is just what causes cancer? Why are we seeing such an epidemic in this country?
Yeah, it's really now in a certain area from the 40s through the 50s and the 60s, cancer is number one killer in America. So it's really it's vying for heart disease, the number one thing we have to worry about. And people are worried about cancer. Well, there's a number of reasons for it, and the reasons why it's so rampant in America. I've been in places in the world where they don't know anything about cancer. You have to describe it to them. And there's 6 areas in the world that are just blue zones where they just don't get cancer, and they live 102 years or 105 years and die overworked. That's all they do. So they don't worry about cancer. And we shouldn't be at the mercy of cancer either. But it's caused largely by acidity, we find out. There's other causes for it, see. The thing that happened in Chernobyl and things like that, I can look at all those causes. Radiation causes cancer. But there's a lot of different kinds of cancers. Actually, there's over 100 kinds of cancers. So you can't use that. You can't say that this one thing will cure all or one thing causes everything. However, radiation, chemotherapy, and things like that, difficult for it kills cells. It makes cells so weak it kills their immunity. And immunity is the only thing we have that keeps us out of cancer or any disease. Now, excess acidity is the big cause in America, is excessive acidity. And eating acids, of course, don't make you alkaline. Makes you acid. And because you can't continually eat acid foods and expect the body to be alkaline. And cancer is always an acid condition, almost always. It is an acid condition. That's what we call it. It's the primary acid condition that kills us. And so if we eat meat, fish, eggs, cheese, wheat, oats, sugar, which is I just named American's diet, it's all acid. It makes acidity in the body. So now acids are expressed in the body by mucus. Americans are mucus-laden bodies. You'll find this out when you get to studying them. They have too much mucus in their body. And mucus is defined in the Merck Medical Manual as undigested protein acid formation. So Americans have too much mucus. In fact, flying recently back from California, there was somebody coughing, sneezing, choking, puking every 20 seconds. Sound like a tuberculosis clinic, And it's because of all this mucus in the people, see. They're eating mucus-forming foods. And most of them, and they were drinking Cokes, Diet Pepsis and Diet Cokes, which is one of the worst things you eat. It makes the fat people, see. The fat people always drink Diet Pepsi or Diet Cokes. And of course, it's this mucus that surrounds cells in the body. And when it surrounds the cell can't breathe. It can't get oxygen in and it can't get waste out. So it has 2 options. One, die. Now you have a dead cells in there. It's called a cyst. It's a benign cyst, just a group of dead cells. In doing autopsies, or being in autopsies, years ago, we found the Americans are full of these cysts. Most of them are benign, but they get in the way of circulation lots of times, but they don't hurt us that much. But some of these cysts change their genetic mechanism in there. The cells can become vegetative, we call it, see. They start living on carbon dioxide, that's your waste, and sugar, instead of oxygen and sugar. So that's what a vegetable does. That's what a plant does, lives on carbon dioxide and glucose. Now here it is, living on that inside your cell here, and it grows on its own DNA, and you have a tumor on your hands. So this is the primary cause of cancer. It's just too much mucus in the body, surrounding cells, gagging them so they can't get their oxygen, and now you've got a vegetative cell in your hand. When doctors stick a needle in it, take a biopsy, they try to determine whether it's vegetative. You don't want to hear that word, because now you have a tumor growing in you that's like a plant growing inside of you. that you're not controlling. Your immune system cannot deal with that. You see, so that's the primary cause of tumors, and that's the big cause of cancers. Of course, there's radiation, and of course, laptops and cell phones now. We're seeing people, and women are wearing cell phones in their bras, and just tons of them now with breast cancer because of it. When you reach 3,200 rads of radiation, Madame Curie, by the way, told us this. That radiation kills cells, and it causes cancer. That's how she died. But now they're teaching in the schools. I asked the 5th grade teacher down here, what are you teaching about Madame Curie? He says, oh, that women can win Nobel Prizes as well as men. That's it? Oh, yeah, that's it. That's what we learned from Madame Curie. Didn't we learn that radiation kills? Isn't that what we learned? Well, that's a little heavy to tell the kids, she said. Well, it's a little heavy. The kids now, 1 to 14, are dying from it. It's the #1 cause of death in kids, 1 to 14. Wouldn't it be a little good thing to give them this heavy information, to get away from this laptop stuff and cell phones, or at least put a diode on there to negate the radiation? Well, she just stood there and looked at me. They have no idea that this is the #1 cause of killers in American children, see, 1 to 14, is radiation and cancer.
You know, that's amazing, because it's like everybody's talking about her and how inspirational she is, and she absolutely is, but they're not even talking about the truth that she revealed that made her an inspiration. They're just talking about the accomplishment without the substance.
Yeah, I understand she kept a Nobel Prize in a wastebasket. Didn't care much about that, but this information she came across, we all need to know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you said along with radiation and chemotherapy, which uses radiation, that is harmful. Mm-hmm. So can you tell me more about how chemotherapy is not really helping people, and also what people should do as an alternative to that?
Yes. The only thing that the medical system thinks about is to match fire with fire. See, fire with fire. And it doesn't work in this case, because Dr. Hardin Jones, who took the statistics for the National Cancer Institute for 23 years, wrote a dissertation about it and filed it with the New York Academy of Sciences. Nobody seems to care, but he said, my study have proved conclusively that cancer patients who refuse chemotherapy and radiation actually live 4 times longer than treated cases. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, radical surgery does more harm than good. As for radiation, it doesn't make this, most of the time, it doesn't make the slightest difference whether the machine is turned on or not. They're going to die of radiation, and it's added to by their radiation treatment. Unfortunately, it's just a question of time until the disease pops up again all over the body. You have 0 chance of extending life through radical medical intervention. He said it is utter nonsense. And the statistics he gives in the back, which he took for 23 years, proves this. That almost all of these cancers are deadly. Kidney cancer, uterine cancer, bladder cancer. After 10 years, hardly anybody's left alive. In many cases, only 1 year. In the case of pancreatic cancer or esophageal cancer, which is coming on like gangbusters in America, they don't live through it. In 1 year, they're dead. So this means they're failures. And so in here, it shows you that most patients die of secondary tumors triggered by radiation and chemotherapy, or treatment side effects like heart damage. The statistics were right, confirm it. So there you go. I give this to everybody who walks in. You cannot fight cancer that way. We have to find out the cause and reverse it. And that's what they're not doing.
So people put all their faith into a treatment that doesn't even statistically
That's right.
have any...
And some of the doctors, the honest doctors, will tell you, oh, well, I got this, I'll give you radiation. It doesn't work, but you want to do it? One of my friends with cancer went down there to the biggest hospital in Kansas City the other day, and that's what they told him. And said, it's not going to kill it. He has pancreatic cancer, and you will die from it. And our system doesn't work on that. So, but you want to do it? Well, they seem to have no other option. Oh, there's options. And it's in naturopathy.
So
we can handle that.
Can you tell me more about what people's options would be in naturopathy? Like, how would somebody go about eliminating cancer if they didn't want to go with chemotherapy?
Here's a dissertation written by Sunshine Sharing. Okay, cancer, a natural approach. What is cancer? It tells you. And what Otto Warburg found out, he got a Nobel Prize for proving that whenever any cell is denied 60% of its oxygen requirements, it can become cancerous. So conditions which deprive cells of oxygen, such as chronic inflammation, buildup of toxins, or problems with red blood cells or circulation, increase the risk of cancer. An overly acidic environment in the body is a breeding ground for cancer. So it spells it out for us, you see, what it is. We have to figure it out before we can attack it with intelligence. And then it goes into 7 steps of how to conquer cancer, how to fight it. One is increase the oxygen levels. We know how to do this. We have things like liquid chlorophyll that definitely bring oxygen into the cells of the body. And then you balance the pH. That means you get out of this acidic diet, you start eating alkaline stuff. You can't become alkaline by eating acids. It's impossible chemically. And we can take food enzymes that would digest things down to where they don't wind up as undigested protein acids, which is a definite problem here. And then we have principle number 3, strengthen the immune system. We have trigger immune, we have immune stimulators. We have one called immune stimulator that we give people that ramps your immune system up by 50% in 1 hour. We can measure it in your blood by the T cells and B cells that come out of your bone marrow and out of your thymus. So now we know how to do that. We can detoxify, yes. Those toxins going around cells gags them and it keeps circulation going in there and carrying oxygen. So now we have a combination of herbs called all cell detox. That's exactly what it does. It detoxes the body. So we don't have these sticky things that go around cells and gags them and causes them to die or become cancerous. And principle number 5 is use of antioxidants. Antioxidants take care of free radicals. And so green tea extract, high potency protein, we have Thai-Go, a drink with xanthones in it, powerful antioxidants that have shown in numerous studies to inhibit cancer cells and cancer reduction is business. These compounds cause apoptosis, or cell death of the cancer cell, leaving the good cells alone. So how you like that? Now principle number 6, kill the cancer cells. And this is what pawpaw does. Pawpaw is kind of a state tree of Missouri. It grows around here. And the twig of that tree has a substance called ananaceous acetogenins in it that goes into the cell and stops the energy production, the ATP. It does not produce energy. It cannot replicate. You stop the progress of the cancer. So it's one of the best things that doesn't have side effects. Hair loss, weight loss, extreme nausea, compromised immunity. It doesn't do those things. But it does stop the growth of cancer. We know this in studies done at Purdue University by Dr. McLaughlin. Okay, and it's, now finally, their high potency protease also goes in there, dissolves these things like mucus, which is undigested protein acids, dissolves the mucus, gets the oxygen into the cell, and once the oxygen gets in there, it can't be cancerous. Otto Warburg got 2 Nobel Prizes accepting that fact back in the 1930s. And of course, the last step now that this little brochure gives you is increased joy and pleasure. You go and play on the beach now because you've just cured your cancer. And you got to be happy about this, you see. In fact, a lot of this cancer is caused by stress. You got to reduce our stress. Seek out joy and pleasure, because the pleasurable, happy experience has more positive effect on the immune system and healing than anything else. So there you go. That's a step that we must take. So there you go. That's pretty well gives you the story about cancer, doesn't it? And that's 7 steps there.
Well, thank you so much for answering these questions. It's been amazing getting to talk to you about all of this.
It's been fun.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And I hope all of you appreciate this information as well, that it can help you heal yourself so you don't have to turn to a system that really doesn't benefit you and doesn't bring you health. We really just want to see everybody live as optimally as possible, and that is why we're here trying to help everybody. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.